Hi lovelies, this is Ruiz, founder of Ingenium Movement. Hope you're well. I'm here today to share my mental health story and to celebrate with Mo Yoga Mental Health Awareness Week. You might know me as a yoga meditation teacher, as a sound therapist, and as a life coach. But before all of that happened, I used to have a very different life. I used to work in corporate for many years, almost 2 decades. And especially my late teens and my early 20s were a very, very dark stage of my life. I suffered from a lot of mental health issues. I was severely anxious. I was brought up as a very competitive child. My parents really pushed me to be the best version of myself that I could. But that actually took a little bit of a turn when I kind of felt that I couldn't be that person. The stakes were really high. I became really perfectionist. Really deep lack of self-love with myself and self-worth, to the point that I started getting into trouble, into substance abuse, into really toxic relationships, to the point that I considered taking my own life. A friend recommended me yoga at the time. I almost laughed, saying, why should I go there with all these people chanting and breathing so weirdly? My first class was a Kundalini class, and that cracked me open, widely open. I remember sobbing uncontrollably. All those feelings that I was trying to numb and push down, all of a sudden were there, exposed, vulnerable. And yoga has been able to do that ever since. Every single time that I step on the mat, whether it's on my practice, whether it is when I'm teaching, it is a moment to be kind, which actually is the theme that we're talking about this year. It is a moment to feel, allow the movement, allow the breath to bring up whatever is coming, whatever is happening, and being kind with all of that, being kind with and compassionate with all of that. At some point, I decided to pursue this career, to actually all the healing that I was able to channel through myself, my own story, my own life, to actually offer that to others. That's when, a few years back, I decided to take a turn and become the yoga meditation teacher and all the things that I mentioned earlier, to actually offer a platform and hold space for others to go through that transformation process. And this process is a process that needs kindness, because if we are aiming to really go deep, change and transform ourselves and put ourselves out there, we need to do that through the heart. Our society tells us all the time that everything needs to be processed from that cognitive mind, which is a great ally. But if we're just allowing that mind to carry on, we can just go to very dark places. That's why yoga, the beautiful experience of yoga, bringing balance to mind, body and soul, to the emotions. We're getting into that communing, into that unity of the emotions, of the mind and of the physical body. And I wanted to share with you a practice that is very dear to me, to practice kindness and practice compassion. I like to work with kindness, compassion and gratitude, especially when I find myself in dark places. And I need to remind myself of the good in the world, of the lovely function and opportunities that we have every day that we wake up. We are granted a new opportunity to do good in the world and do good with ourselves. First, it is gratitude. So spending some time in the morning or at night, being grateful for what you have, being grateful for your functional body, with your feeling body, with your emotions, people that love you, having a roof over your head, having food on the table. All of that are things that sometimes we take for granted. But when we start vibrating through that gratitude, there's a massive shift happening within us. And what's happening in that microcosmos, it extends around us and manifests in our external world. The second is compassion, which is very much related to kindness, how we can be kind to ourselves. It is good to have the drive, it's good to push ourselves to do things different, but at the same time, we need to do that with the heart, being very mindful of what the intelligence of the heart is guiding us. So that practice of compassion and forgiveness, I have developed through a prayer, the Ho'oponopono prayer. Maybe some of you have heard of this. And it goes from reminding yourself that you love yourself. I love you. I'm sorry. I forgive you and thank you. So you're starting from that place of love. You're forgiving yourself for the things that you didn't know. You were doing the best that you could in the circumstances. You are saying sorry to yourself and also to others if your actions or your thoughts inflicted any pain. And you're thanking, you are vibrating from that place of thankfulness and gratitude, because that's a learning, that's supporting your growth forwards. Hope that has inspired you a little bit, has brought a little bit more of insights. And let's break the stigma. Let's talk about mental health. Let's reveal the true selves, because it is through that stepping in our power, being vulnerable, raw and authentic, that we can really giving ourselves permissions to be our true selves. And doing that is leading also with example. I love you all. Catch me on social media, Ingenium Movement, if you'd like to keep the conversations going. Otherwise, I will be teaching on more yoga during these days in online, and hopefully see you very soon in the studios as well. Love you all.